we have the co-main event for UFC 282, which is Jan Błachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev. The main event for right now is Yuri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira. So it's a little rough card for at least right now, but this is what we have. This is the co-main event for right now. I'm hoping they put Stipe and versus Jones or something, or Jones versus Ngannou or whatever the hell they're doing. I don't even know if Ngannou is going to fight by the end of the year. Very confusing situation. But this is the co-main event for right now. Presumably like a backup slot if like Glover Teixeira gets hurt or something. Same thing with Yuri if he gets hurt or misses weight or something like that. Just a backup fighter will probably be drawn from here. I think it would probably be Jan Błachowicz, I think is what they'll do. Even though Ankalaev probably should get it, it'll probably be Błachowicz as the backup fighter here. But we're going to be breaking down how I think the fight will go down and things like that. So let's get right into how they physically match up. Jan Błachowicz is 29-9. Magomed Ankalaev only has one loss on his record. Jan Błachowicz is 9 years older than Magomed Ankalaev. So Jan Błachowicz is definitely getting up there in age for sure. He's actually almost 40 years old. He'll probably be 40 by the time this fight happens, or right around that age. This is at light heavyweight. Magomed Ankalaev is like an inch taller. We'll have Jan Błachowicz will have a 3-inch reach advantage, and Magomed Ankalaev will have a 2-inch leg reach advantage. So for Jan Błachowicz, his last couple of fights were against Alexander Rakic in that main event where Rakic got hurt. I believe Jan Błachowicz, I think, either checked one of his kicks or he like kicked him in the thigh and then his like ACL blew or something like that. And Rakic has been out for quite a few months rehabbing his injury there. I think it was I had it kind of like split between rounds there. I thought Błachowicz maybe could have won the first round because I think he landed more damaging shots. But Rakic definitely hurt his eye in that fight. So it was a pretty even fight from there. Before then, when he had the light heavyweight title against Glover Teixeira, he got submitted relatively easily. Kind of got ragdolled a little bit. Not ragdolled, but he got out wrestled the whole time, out grappled. Same thing a little bit with Alexander Rakic too. Rakic took him down in the second round and didn't really stop. He grinded him out. And then the Adesanya before that where he beat him. But his last couple of fights, the guys have been using the grappling, the wrestling to control Jan Błachowicz on the ground, and he's pretty much struggled with it. For Magomed Ankalaev, last fight was a ground and pound win over Anthony Smith. I think he like injured Anthony Smith's leg. I'm not sure if it was from because he checked one of his kicks or if like the leg kicks finally like took out Anthony Smith in that fight. Thiago Santos, that fight was really boring. It was like a 5-round main event. It was, oh my goodness. I don't know how people didn't fall asleep during that main event. It's very boring. Ankalaev recently has been just trying to get the decision. He hasn't been fighting too aggressively, especially even in that Anthony Smith fight. He wasn't super aggressive in that fight either, just doing enough to win. He's not really showing too much like he used to when he was coming up. Like he had the first KO win against Ian Cutelaba. I don't really count that because that was a stupid stoppage. The second one was pretty impressive. Does have some really good punches and things like that. Good jab. Just likes to get the decision. He doesn't want to do too much. Does have some good wrestling, grappling. He doesn't really use it that much, or hasn't really used it that much. In the Paul Craig fight, which was his only loss, he was able to he was on his knees and then just picked up and threw Paul Craig on the ground and was grappling him there. Really doesn't use the grappling at all. Sticks with the striking, but I think in this fight he should be going for the grappling and the wrestling. Jan Błachowicz definitely has a weakness there, and he'll probably exploit it. Would make no sense why he wouldn't. Jan Błachowicz does have a 3-inch reach advantage on him, so realistically, staying at range and trying to outpoint Jan Błachowicz in this fight will be hard for him because Jan Błachowicz still has quite a bit of power. You kind of wonder like when that age will set in, but Glover Teixeira is 42 years old, 43 years old, so he's still making it happen there. For the Anthony Smith and Ankalaev fight, they both had relatively equal reach. Anthony Smith did have longer reach, but didn't really do too much with it. I think these guys will probably just open up with leg kicks, and then once Ankalaev starts to feel the legendary Polish power, I think he'll switch to wrestling and grappling and try and take out Jan Błachowicz from there. I think he'll probably just grind him out in the ground for 3 rounds. I'm kind of, I don't want to say assuming, but I think Jan Błachowicz will probably take the first round just based on damage alone. I think he'll, well, by the judging nowadays, I mean, Jan Błachowicz will probably land a couple good shots on him. Ankalaev will probably land a couple good shots back, but I think eventually Ankalaev will take him down. The power will probably be a little too much for him to be safe on the feet, or he'll just make it boring and just try to outpoint him, but I don't think that'll work. So I think he'll try and wrestle him and grapple him to the ground, maybe like a little bit over halfway through the first round, and then kind of stick with that before the final 2 rounds. So I do think Ankalaev will probably win this 29-28. But it is a relatively close fight. Like, the power is always an issue not always an issue for Ankalaev, because we haven't really seen it too much. Like, he's able to keep a distance and outpoint these guys. But I think we'll see a power be a big factor in this fight for Ankalaev, and I don't think he's going to be comfortable on the feet fighting Jan Błachowicz with his power. So I think mixing in the wrestling, mixing in the grappling, I think he'll be able to outpoint or grind Jan Błachowicz out for the final 2 rounds. The first round will probably be kind of a toss-up. I'll give it to Jan Błachowicz because I think he'll deal the most damage in that first round, and Ankalaev will probably just move it to the ground and try and maybe ground and pound it there. Maybe he can get some points ground and pounding on the ground. But I do think Jan Błachowicz won the first round, and I can see Ankalaev winning the last 2. So yeah, that's what I have for this fight. Nothing too crazy here. I'm really hoping they add more to the top of the 282 card. It seems like they're adding quite a bit to the bottom. Same with that Fight Night card. I'm assuming they're still going to be packing this card. It's still relatively early. I don't know how many fights are on this card for right now. I can actually check really quickly. Not that it's greatly important to this fight, but they have a lot of fights on this card. I don't know how many they plan on doing here though. There's about 10. Okay, so they got 13 fights. They can probably add a couple. You have Gustafsson, Open St. Preux, Rosenstrike, Chris Dawkins, Darren Till, Dricus Duplessis. Okay, that should be a fun fight. Jan Błachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev, and then Yuri Prohaska versus Glover Teixeira. So it probably just needs one more fight. Maybe it really needs Jones Stipe on this card. They need one upper fight. So maybe if you can throw on Colby Hamza or whatever you want to do for this card, just to add a little bit more interest to it, that'd be great. I'd be very happy with that. But the bottom of the card actually is pretty solid here. I really like the layout. They actually have Jamie Pickett versus Bo Nickel on the prelims. That'll be interesting. But yeah, a really solid card for 282. This fight should be really interesting. It's I think this should be the #1 contender fight. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. We have a very big week next week for UFC 280, so I'll be packing loads of content. I'll probably upload all 7 days if I can actually do that. But yeah, I think I'll have, Thursday today. I'll upload another video tomorrow, recap Saturday's event, post Sunday's predictions, and then we're going to be breaking down tons of fights all week for UFC 280. And yeah, giving my final prediction for that UFC 280 card. I've been so happy it's here, especially after these last couple weeks. Like, Grasso versus Araujo is not a bad main event, but putting it right next to Jan Xiaonan and Mackenzie Dern in 4 weeks, like two-week breaks between those two okay cards, it's really rough. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.